This is the best I had, alright?
Once again, today's video is proudly sponsored by keys. It's proudly sponsored by my keys, my house keys, that you won't get to see. Once again, today's video is proudly sponsored by Key. The spooky season is among us, and because we are too old to pillage the streets for sweets and too antisocial to be getting down to groovy beats at parties, we may just want to stay inside and play with our Thomas trains. Oh no! Trains cost the same as your rent! But fear not, help is at hand thanks to Key, who not only have a ton of Thomas toy brands from Toby to Ertl to Take and Play and many more, but they are insanely cheap and they do not incinerate your wallet in any way. And if you're unsure, get this, you can use the code UsualBloke10 to get 10% off your next order. That's a pretty solid deal if you ask me, and God knows we need good deals more than ever in this country. Using the code also supports me and the work I do, which I'm incredibly grateful for, but even without the code, these are still great prices. A big thanks as always to Key for the sponsorship, and on with the video.
Happy Halloween, everybody! It's the season of scares, right before the inevitable landslide of Christmas songs soon to be played at your local Tesco. Originally, I had nothing planned for this season, but considering how I promised you guys a video last Halloween,
And I'll see you guys on Halloween, where I have something special planned for you.
and did fuck all, I figured it's only fitting that I give you guys something to watch this time of year, and today's subject is spooky, but also something that really grinds my gears, as they say. Toby's Discovery.
I'm sure this episode needs no introduction to people in the Thomas fandom, but just for the sake of it, Toby's Discovery is the 14th episode of Series 5. Written by Brittle, Croft and David Mitten, who also produced and directed it, composed by Mike and Jr., and narrated in the UK and the US by Michael Angelis and that guy who did Boss Baby. It's a fan favourite episode starring everyone's favourite garden shed on wheels, Toby, as he takes the Fat Controller into the thick of it on Sodor's hidden tracks. They find an old castle and an old mine, which makes old Fatty Topham say,
Colo, nice this bitch.
and the location starts to be restored for tourists. Toby stays on night duty, gets the shit scared out of him by a strange noise, only to find out it's a Thomas Recolor original character Do Not Steal, Bertram. And then the episode just kind of ends.
But what, pray tell, could I possibly have against this gem of an episode? And I should stress, a lot of people in the fandom love this episode, and if you like it, that's absolutely fine. I'm in no way trying to tell you what you should and shouldn't like. But one of the bigger problems that I have with this episode is that in the second half, Toby's kind of a wuss.
What I mean by that is, up to the point in this show, Toby has always been the wise old granddad of the cast of characters. If you've seen Unlucky Tug's Sodor's Finest on Toby, you'll know where I'm going with this. He was an experienced engine, perfectly willing to give his wisdom to engines like Percy, Mavis and Daisy. But if they ever acted childish or ignored his advice completely, he'd just stand at the side, watch the fire spread, and then he would show them how it's done. He was an engine who was brave and sure of who he was deep down inside. My problem with how he's written in this episode is that from the moment he sees the mine for the first time, he begins to feel spooked out, and is even more so scared when Thomas talks about a ghost called the Old Warrior before he's put on night watch. Now look, when it gets to night time, I can understand his fear. To an extent. The atmosphere is very spooky as the silhouettes combined with the fog make everything seem unfamiliar, and it makes sense for the main character to feel scared in a chilling location. That's expected when writing a story like this. But he's also afraid of the mine in broad daylight and is immediately scared by Thomas's ghost story. Remember when Toby helped Percy spook Thomas by making him think Percy was a ghost in Series 2? He knows ghosts aren't real, but he's playing along so he can take the piss out of Thomas and have a laugh with Percy. With as old and as wise Toby is, you'd think he'd just roll his eyes at Thomas trying to scare him with the Old Warrior story and just not let that bother him. Only for him to start acting like the scaredy engine he was pretending to be in Ghost Train.
I've just seen something, said Toby. It looked like Percy's ghost. It said it was coming here to warn us.
It's the old warrior. He's come to hunt me down.
It just feels wrong to me, and a lot of you may be thinking, oh, so this means Toby is not allowed to be scared by anything, Luke. Oh no, he can still be scared.
Toby is a grown man of an engine, god that sounded so weird to say, but he is still allowed to be scared. Episodes like Toby's Tightrope and Toby and the Flood are a testament to that. In Tightrope, he becomes a runaway train when trucks push him down the line onto a collapsing bridge. And in Flood, he's carried away down a flooded river on a broken bridge and nearly goes over a waterfall. He's allowed to be scared in those episodes because he's in situations where things are out of his control and he's at risk of getting seriously hurt. That's what happens with other engines in Runaway episodes. It doesn't matter how brave they are, a runaway is still a runaway. I view Toby in this episode the same way I view Percy in Percy and the Haunted Mine and Skarloey in The Old Bridge. Each character has their own understandable reasons to be scared, Percy's being the building sinking into the ground and Skarloey's being he nearly fell off that bridge. But both were terrified of something that they should have been able to deal with, like Skarloey not understanding that the bridge is mended and safe, or Percy being scared of gnomes. God, this episode was dumb. There are other issues I have with Toby's discovery, like the off-pacing trying to cram Toby being on night duty into the last minute of the episode before it has a chance to really feel spooky, and how it introduced arguably the weakest character in all of the classic series, Bertram, just by repainting Duke and giving him Smudge's face. He doesn't even have any lines of dialogue and is never seen again after this episode.
Like, I swear this is something that I could have done. Like, I could have taken the shell of an already existing character, changed the colour, changed the face from another character's face, and just say, "Hello everybody, meet Roger the Asthma Engine."
I don't despise the episode though, as it has plenty of positives going for it. The set design when Toby goes exploring is spot on, the feeling of heading into the unknown is exciting, the music is whimsical yet also terrifying when it needs to be, especially with that reimagining of Ringa Ringa Roses. And it's wholesome to see the Fat Controller being a family man bringing his grandchildren on the adventure. It's just an episode I don't understand for how it portrayed the character of Toby. Not the worst of the classic series by a long, long shot, and definitely not the worst episode of Series 5 in general, but it's one I don't see myself watching again for a long time.
But hey, there's plenty of other Thomas and Friends episodes I'll be sure to rewatch this time of year. Haunted Henry, Thomas Percy and the Dragon, Duncan Gets Spooked, Stepney Gets Lost, Ghost Train, just to bring that up again. There's plenty to watch, and whichever one you decide to watch this Halloween, I hope it's a good one. And even if you don't celebrate Halloween, I hope you have a great time, because it has been a crazy year this past few months, with still 2 months left to go, so we need all the joy that we can get. Whatever you decide to do, really, really do hope you enjoy it. With that said, have a good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time you're watching this, and happy Halloween. Should probably take off the costume before I open this. Huzzah, we have it open. That was possibly one of the weirdest, longest takes I've ever done at the end of a video. I actually do want to take a drink of this, so I just gotta... Oh, jeez. My identity is revealed, everybody. Oh, that's the good shit.